Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video we are going to see how to do the pattern printing in C programming language. Here we are going to print this pattern. In pattern printing, the first thing is we have to pick up the logic. If you look at the logic here, as the row numbers increases, the stars increases. First row we have 1 star, second row we have 2 star, and it goes on like that, right? So we can, based on that, we can create a loop. And in pattern printing we have to create a nested for loop. Now here we are going to see how to do that. Let's go ahead and create the program. Here first let's get rid of this one. So first I'm going to introduce character type of variable, because the star asterisk is a character type of variable. So we have to put character, and you can name it as anything you want. I'm going to say print, and that is equivalent to an asterisk. That is equivalent to an asterisk and a semicolon right here. And then we are going to introduce integer rows and columns, or you can name it as a b. You can name it as anything you want, right? Rows, comma, column, and then semicolon. And the next thing is we are going to put number of rows, integer number of rows. You can put any number you want. Let's start with 5. I'm going to print 5 rows of stars like that. Okay. The next thing is we are going to create the for loop. In the outer loop we are going to set the rows. For loop, in the outer loop we are going to set the rows. Let's start with 1. Row is equal to 1, and then row is less than or equal to number of rows, because we have to stop when it reach 5. That's why we'll set the limit after that. The next thing is we have to do the increment row plus plus. Okay, and this is our outer loop, and in the inner loop we have to introduce the column loop for the columns. Let's just copy this same thing. We copy this one and paste it right here, and here instead of column we have to put, instead of row we just put column, and for this one also we put column. And when the column number reach the row number, for example for the first one we had to have, when it reach 1 row, at the same time we had to have 1 column, right? So it's going, when it reach, it has to go out of the loop. That's why in first column we will have when we have 1 row we will have 1 star, and it will go out of the loop. And when it's 2 star in the second column, when it go again, so it goes like that. That's the logic behind it. And here we put column plus plus, column plus plus, and then we have to give a printf statement. In this printf statement we are going to just say printf %c, and since we have introduced the name print for this character, so we put print right here and a semicolon. And then here we have to put printf \n for the new line. Okay, because each time when it comes out of the loop it's going to print 1 star, and then we have to leave a line. We have to go to the next line and print the second one, right? So that's why we put a \n right here. Now let's go ahead and run this one and see whether it works. See, we are getting the pattern. This is the one we expected. This is the one we wanted, right? So you can increase the number of rows you want to print as much as you want. To do that we just have to set it to whatever the number you want. For example, if you want to print 10 rows of star, you put 10 and run this one, and that's going to print like this, 10 rows of star. And also you can introduce, you can also get the input from the user and do the same thing. In order to do that, you have to get rid of this number and introduce the number of rows like this. And then here we have to give the printf statement. So in the printf statement we have to give a prompt to the user, otherwise user doesn't know what are we asking, right? So we have to give a prompt to the user. In the prompt we are going to say, okay, hold on. In the prompt we are going to say enter the number of rows to be printed. Okay, enter the number of rows to be printed and a \n. Okay, this is printf statement, and to get the input from the user we have to give a scanf statement, scanf, and for that one we have to give %d because we are getting an integer from the user, so we have to put %d, and we have to store the %d in the number of rows, because that's where we are going to say number of, like, how many number we want to print, number of rows. Okay, and since this is a variable, if it's an array we don't have to put ampersand, but if it's a variable we always have to put an ampersand in front of this, like this. And that's it. Now let's go ahead and run this one. Okay, there's something wrong here. I have to put a semicolon. Okay, let's run. We enter the numbers of rows to be printed. Let's put 11. Okay, it's printing 11 like this. Okay, and that's how you do this kind of programming. I mean, that's how we do this pattern printing. I hope you guys find this video helpful, and don't forget to subscribe. There are a bunch of videos on C programming in my channel, and I have made a playlist on that. I hope you guys watch that too. And if you want to try this course, it's in my blogger. I put it in the description, so you can go ahead and pick up those courses, right? And see you next time.